Yo, welcome back everybody to a brand new video here on the second channel. Today we're going to be looking at some brand new cards that got revealed, a few more EXs, including a new one that may or may not be a little ridiculous. And we're going to take a look at some of these new cards and break down what they do. And I'm excited because Obsidian Flames is coming out very, very soon. We are actually like a month away from it releasing over here. So I am super excited for Obsidian Flames to come out. I cannot wait to play all the new cards and all that good stuff. And if y'all are excited too, leave a like on the video. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below to the second channel so you don't miss an upload. And let's take a look at what these new cards do. So the first card is Absol. This card got revealed a few days ago. This card's actually not too bad. This might be one of the first playable Absol cards we've seen in quite a while. So does have the attack Future Sight, 1 Dark Energy. You can look at the top 3 cards of either player's deck and put them back on top in any order. Now, you could play Absol as like a control deck where you manipulate the top card of your opponent's deck with Future Sight alongside hand controlling them. Maybe this Absol could be a good one of in Arbok EX when the Pokemon 151 set comes out. Other than that, there's not really like any hand control decks. I guess there's like you can go like Roxanne, Future Sight. The main attack though is actually not bad. For 2 dark and a colorless, Cursed Slug does 100 damage, and if your opponent has 3 or fewer cards in their hand, this attack does 120 more damage. So you can do 220 damage if your opponent has 3 or fewer cards within their hand, and that's not too bad. I mean, there are ways you can do more damage with that. There is Roxanne, of course. You could play Iono too, of course, Iono. This is more of a late game attack though. This doesn't really work in the early game as well. I mean, I guess it could if your opponent just plays cards down from their hand, but for the most part, this is only going to be good in the later half of the game. When you play supporter cards like Iono or Roxanne and put them down to a low hand, you could play Judge alongside there's a new Pokemon item card coming out in 151 where you can take a Pokemon from your opponent's hand and put it at the bottom of their deck. But overall, this definitely is a strong attacker. But it just only works really in the late game. This could be decent within Arbok. It only has 210 HP though, so the problem with Absol is also very fragile, super duper weak, so you probably want to play this as a late game attacker in a dark deck, but you have to play this with like heavy Iono and Roxanne in order for this card to probably be any good, because its damage output is strong, but its HP is very weak. So we'll see where Absol goes. Next up, we have King Ambit and Revenge Punch. So King Ambit, of course, we do have a King Ambit in our standard format that we've looked at before. But we got a new King Ambit coming out, which is pretty interesting. So it's got the attack Execute. If your opponent's active Pokemon has 4 or more damage counters on it, it is knocked out. So King Ambit just flat out KOs your opponent's active Pokemon. Now, this is very similar to a Gengar card that did something similar where for 3, if they had 3 damage on them, then the Pokemon was immediately KO'd. So King Ambit does it if the Pokemon has 4 damage on it. So getting 4 damage on the opponent's active Pokemon isn't that hard in this day and age, especially when you have cards like Radiant Alakazam, Rabushek Inteleon, Meowscarada EX, just to name a few decent ideas to play this with. There's other ideas. You can play this in like a spread deck, obviously. Now, King Ambit is a Stage 2, which is going to be its biggest downside. It is, of course, a Stage 2, so you have to use Rare Candy to get this thing into play. But overall, it's not a bad card. It definitely is decent. It is nice that a Stage 2 Pokemon can insta-KO the opponent. I mean, Stage 2s have been kind of lacking right now that aren't EX Pokemon. So to have one that actually can do something decent with Execute is nice. Just being able to insta-KO your opponent's active Pokemon is pretty strong. And we definitely could see King Ambit see play. We just have to find a way to manipulate the damage counters on the opponent. Again, the best options we have is like Radiant Alakazam alongside some kind of spread card. Those are probably going to be the best ways we can try to get damage on the opponent's active Pokemon. It does work with a Metal Energy. I don't know if there's any Metal Pokemon King Ambit works with, but definitely interested to see where King Ambit goes. Next up, we have a Revenge Punch. Very interesting tool card. When the Pokemon this card is attached to is knocked out by damage from the attack of your opponent's Pokemon, put 4 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. So it looks like it's only when the Pokemon gets knocked out. Now, there are similar cards like this in the format. There's Rocky Helmet. There's Box of Disaster, which apparently saw play at NEIC. But then we have Revenge Punch, which is kind of like in the middle, because it's only doing 4 damage counters. Now, the obvious thing this card can be decent against is Gardevoir, right? Gardevoir loads up a ton of energy on a Shining Arcana Gardevoir. They put themselves to 20 to 40 HP remaining. They attack you with Revenge Punch on, and then Revenge Punch knocks them out. So, I mean, maybe this could see play. Probably won't. I mean, Choice Belt is just a better tool card. So I don't know if Revenge Punch is unfortunately that good. Doesn't really seem like this card will be that good. I mean, I guess we'll have to see if it's good against Gardevoir, but we do already have other tool cards for Gardevoir, right? We have we have Box Disaster, and we have Panic Mask. So we'll see if this card sees play. I don't know if it will, to be honest, but it is definitely an interesting card nonetheless, and being able to have a decent, like another tool against Gardevoir is nice to have, because I don't think Gardevoir is going anywhere, even with the new Charizard coming out, which we'll take a look at in a minute. Next up, we have Town Department Store here, which is interesting. This card is actually extremely powerful, and this is why. So once during each player's turn, that player may search your deck for a Pokemon tool, reveal it, and put it into their hand. So, like, all right, a free way to get a tool. That's pretty good. Right, being able to get any tool card you want out of your deck is actually pretty strong, right? You can get Choice Bell, you can get Bravery Charm. Why is this card super powerful for the game? Well, because it gets you Forest Seal Stone. Yes, this Stadium card, effectively, with Forest Seal Stone, lets you get any card out of your deck, right? Because you can grab the Forest Seal Stone with the Stadium, and then you can use the Forest Seal Stone to get any card you want. This Stadium is really, really powerful. This might be really good within Mew. It allows Mew to find either Choice Belt or Forest Seal Stone, which Mew really does like having access to. And it also could be good within Lost Box, because Lost Box now has a way to get a Forest Seal Stone. And Lost Box can easily get turn 1 if they are able to get Forest Seal. Like, whenever Lost Box gets a Forest Seal Stone down, if they have a good enough setup, Lost Box should be able to get the turn 1 Mirage Gate, and this card will allow Lost Box to find turn 1 Forest Seal Stone a lot easier. This card is really, really powerful, and I think will be a very strong card for the game. It is nice to see, like, good stadiums come out, because I do think that we need to continue to get good stadium cards at all times to keep up with the competition, especially when cards like Path of the Peak and Lost City are so good right now. It is nice to see something like Town Department Store come out. Again, very strong card. Getting any tool you want out of the deck is insane, and the main purpose of this card will easily be to get Forest Seal Stone, because Forest Seal Stone is very good, and being able to have a way to search it for free is kind of absurd. So this card is definitely extremely powerful. And then next up, we have a few new cards. So the first thing, we got some English scans of some of the new Obsidian Flame cards. We did get the artwork revealed for the special illustration for the Terrestrial Charizard EX. This is a pretty good looking card, I can't lie. This will obviously be the money card of the set. Charizard EX is also a very playable card. I think Charizard will actually see competitive play. So that also kind of will boost the morale of this deck. Like, imagine your opponent is playing 3 of these in their Charizard deck. I mean, bro, I would be like, all right, bro, I quit. I don't know if there's any other new cards that got revealed. We do have a few cards to look at. I mean, there's this new Magnezone. It's not in English, though. We do have this Reveroom here. I don't know if we've looked at Reveroom yet. I can't remember. I don't think we have. This Pokemon, it may have up to 4 Pokemon tools attached to it, and if it loses the ability to discard the tools. So, very interesting card. Being able to have 4 tools on is nice. It's basically just Honchkrow, Visibility, and then you have Wild Drift, that does 170 damage. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks. I actually don't hate Reveroom. If you can power this thing up, it can be pretty bulky, especially when you can put 4 tools on it. You can't put Bravery Charm on it, but you could put other, like, tools on it, I guess, to help a little bit. You can put 4 Choice Belts on it, which is kind of lit. But yeah, I don't think we've looked at the Reveroom yet. I could be wrong. I don't think we have. We looked at everything else, though. But then finally, we're going to take a look at the new Glimmora. This card is kind of stupid. I'm not going to lie. This card has a very powerful ability. So it's got Dust Field. As long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, your opponent can't have more than 3 bench Pokemon. If they have 4 or more bench Pokemon, they discard bench Pokemon until they have 3 Pokemon on the bench. If more than 1 effect changes the number of bench Pokemon allowed, use a smaller number. So this card is extremely powerful against any deck, specifically against, like, Mew. But yeah, this Glimmora is a super powerful and a super annoying card to play against, because immediately what it does is it shuts off your opponent from being able to bench Pokemon. This card is essentially an Avery on an ability, and Avery is already one of those cards that can be very annoying. I mean, this card is very good against any deck that always likes to have a big bench. And I mean, Mew VMAX is a prime example of Glimmora, right? Glimmora is pretty good against Mew VMAX, right? And it could be good against something like Gardevoir, too. Gardevoir is another deck that likes to fill their bench up. Glimmora is a super powerful card. I mean, just any deck will probably have to worry about Glimmora, because a lot of decks will like to fill their bench up, right? So being able to abuse Glimmora is pretty powerful. This card is definitely a strong card. I don't know if it'll see play by itself, because this main attack is not that great. It does Poisonous Gem, does 140, and then your opponent's active is now poisoned. I guess you can play, like, Radiant Sneasler to do 160 or 170 with poison. It's not like the strongest card on the planet in terms of attack. It's just the ability itself is really, really powerful. Again, being able to limit your opponent's bench is insane. Now, there's even a Glimmet in the format that has Ascension, so you can use Glimmet to immediately go into Glimmora and block your opponent's bench. So yeah, this card is very powerful. Now, the only thing is, will it actually see play, and how will it see play is going to be the main question, because I don't know if this card will see play immediately, but it definitely could see some play, because it's a very powerful effect, and there's a ton of decks out there that like to fill their bench up with Pokemon, and this card can be very annoying to play against. So we'll have to see if it sees any play. Let me know down in the comments below how you think this Glimmora could see play, because I think that ability is just extremely powerful and very dumb. So we'll have to see how Glimmora sees play. But yeah, I'm pretty sure those are the two cards we didn't look at. We didn't look at the Rev Room yet, and we didn't look at the Glimmora. But yeah, Rev Room can put a bunch of tools on it. There's actually a lot of cool tools you can put on the Rev Room. Again, being able to play 4 Choice Belt is kind of sick. There's other things you can do with Rev Room too, with other tool cards, which is kind of cool. But yeah, there you go. Those are some of the new cards. Of course, new Charizard artwork goes hard. The new Glimmora is pretty decent. The new Town Department Store, I think, is very, very powerful. Again, being able to search out a Forest Sealstone for free on a stadium is extremely good. And then, of course, the King Ambit's kind of interesting, being able to knock your opponent out. And then, of course, Revenge Punch, cool. And the new Absol's not too bad either. So overall, not that bad. I think Glimmora maybe the strongest card revealed, or maybe the Town Department Store was the strongest card. But those are the new cards that got revealed in Obsidian Flames. Obsidian Flames is coming out in like a month from now. So I am super excited for Obsidian Flames to come out. I cannot wait to make content. I am not going to the World Championship this year because the World Championship is in Japan, and there's a lot of things. I mean, if you want to see my main reason, go on Twitter. But part of that reason is because Obsidian Flames is coming out the same weekend as Worlds. So if I was away in Japan, I would have to find a way to make videos in Japan because I don't want to miss out on making content on a new set release. No. I just can't do that. So that was part of the reason why I didn't want to go to Japan. I don't have my invite, but I was originally going to go, but with Japan being the same weekend as Obsidian Flames, like Worlds, like there's no point, right? So it's like I'd rather stay home, make videos, because I'm excited for these new cards, and seeing some of these new cards get revealed does make me pretty hyped to give them a try. But thanks for watching the video. If you all enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you're new to the channel, of course, subscribe down below and all that good stuff. And I'll see you on another video here on the second channel. Peace out.